And the official announcement just came that this game has been postponed. So any further information will have to come later on. That is all the information that we have right now that has been disseminated from the league to us here inside the arena. And so the Jazz and Thunder will not play the game here tonight. Unfortunately, the game has been postponed. We will send it back to the guys in the studio, Jason Spells and Greg Buckner, for more.
And fans, due to unforeseen circumstances, the game tonight has been postponed. You are all safe. And take your time in leaving the arena tonight and do so in an orderly fashion. Thank you for coming out tonight. We are all safe. And you can visit OKCThunder.com for updates on upcoming games.
Sport and everything that goes into it, from graceful artistry to compelling theater, has always held a place of distinction in the American culture. It's provided an escape, a pleasant distraction from the issues of the real world. Now, suddenly, sport has become a focal point in a worldwide battle against an opponent uncommon, unseen, and unnerving. In the span of roughly 24 hours, the nation received a presidential update on this threat, and shortly thereafter, an NBA game was postponed when a first-time All-Star became the first player to test positive for the coronavirus. A revelation which prompted the league to abruptly suspend its season. As that hiatus began, other sports would follow suit. Another NBA player's positive test result was revealed. And while games and tournaments were scrapped, two college basketball teams playing an early afternoon game went to their locker rooms at halftime, but would not return to the court. It is a virus that has touched many facets of life as we know it, and has claimed lives around the world. Its path, uncharted, remains shrouded in uncertainty, as is the immediate future of what had been a refuge from the real world, the sports world.
Welcome, everybody, to the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show, and thanks for joining us today. March 11th, 2020. It doesn't feel like that long ago. I'm joined alongside Gaven Tony. It's an honor to be here with all of you again. Today is supposed to be a happy day for us, a return to the NBA. Very excited, but first, an opportunity to reflect and learn. No, this global pandemic is not over. Nowhere close to that. This battle is far from done. But we, as people who unite, will win it. On March 11th, 2020, 144 days ago to be exact, the Philadelphia 76ers tipped off against the Detroit Pistons in what would be the last game of the season with fans at the Wells Fargo Center. The last game for the Sixers at the Wells Fargo Center. Life as we knew it would change. Schools would shut down. Airports would freeze. Cruise ships returned to port, never to sail again up until at least now. But today, we continue to see some things return to normalcy to an extent. We see Major League Baseball, while yes, there are still issues with the coronavirus in that league, return to play. The NHL's return to play begins next week. And today, the first sport that shut down will return. At 6:30 Eastern Time tonight in Orlando, Florida, inside the NBA campus, a.k.a. the Bubble, the Utah Jazz, Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, the first players that we know of to be tested and confirmed positive of COVID-19, will tip off against the Pelicans. The storylines of this season that we were unsure were going to return. We didn't know if we'd get to see a battle between the Lakers and Clippers. We didn't know if the Pelicans were going to make the playoffs. We don't know if the Sixers' disappointing season would have gotten worse. With all that being said, we as people, we are here today, months later, still fighting this pandemic. And thanks to our friends over at TNT and Ernie Johnson's commentary, sports is supposed to be for unity. Sports is supposed to make you forget about the hardships of the real world. But when the real world pierces its way into sports, it's hard to do so. We spent the past 144 days watching replays, watching golf and NASCAR. Credit to them for coming back. But now we are starting to see more team sports return. This is something that we should be proud of as a country and a world not disappointed in, because we've come a long way. But we're not finished yet. With that being said, I know we start this show on a somber note, but we would hope to turn this into ecstatic excitement for the return to the NBA tonight. But first off, Gaven, my co-host, we've been doing this show for 8 weeks. No live sports up until last week with Major League Baseball. And now tonight, the NBA kicks it off. First off, the essential question, how are you doing? And maybe some of your opening statements.
First of all, I'm doing great and phenomenal opening remarks, phenomenal video. Guys, I didn't get to see the video till now, so kudos. For those who may not know, Zach is a technical genius. All right, he put that all together and debuted it to me as you guys got to see it as well. So kudos to you, Zach, and well said. Ladies and gentlemen, March 11th, 2020. The day people like to call hell. The day people like to call we don't know what's going to happen next. Zach, a lot of people did not think we were going to see the summer of 2020. We made it. We made it with a few bumps and head scratches and things along the way. But we made it. As a whole, as a country, who would have knew we were going to get to see sports again? Who would have knew we were going to get to see things open again to a certain point? It's crazy. We had our hiccups along the way. Obviously now we got live sports back with major changes. They're not in their home stadium. Basketball, WNBA, hockey, and soccer. And then you have baseball. That is, but there's no fans. But that's okay, because the love for the game runs strong. Zach, we were watching highlights, videos. I was watching old things from 2010. Can't wait for the love of basketball to come back. Couldn't wait for the game. The game is back tonight. As a country, we came a long way. Like I said, we saw some few hiccups along the way. Obviously, the social justice movement, the Black Lives Matter movement going on right now. That's our next thing. We're not done. You know, the voice is not over. All right. We may have gotten our live sports back. We may have gotten our malls open, but the main reason, which is really going on now, and has been going on for, in my opinion, way too long, is racism. We got the pandemic, I don't want to say under control, because states are going up, Zach, as we know it. But as a whole, together, we can beat the pandemic. We can somehow control the pandemic. Wear our masks, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to racism, it's been going on for way too long. Enough is enough. Zach, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing great. Great opening remarks by you. We do our best on this show to utilize this platform to provide to you the most information we can, whether it be on sports, on justice, or on whatever. We do have those uncomfortable conversations, and we do it live in front of all of you. We've extended to Facebook, so we now have more viewers than ever, and I'm very excited to have this consistency that we've worked on. We're almost at our 40th show. Tomorrow marks 40. It's been phenomenal. We've been having a great time. We have great guests on the show. We've had DeMarco Murray. We've had our friend Dom on a few times yesterday. We had a really great guy on to talk about his school and what they're going through right now. And one thing that he said, some of these kids might not be going to school if there's no basketball to play. People don't understand how much of an impact sports have on people. No matter what you do with your day, everybody has their own lives. Everybody's got to look out for themselves. Whether you're an executive in a company, a salesman, a frontline worker, we all love and respect each other. Everyone at the end of the day has to do what's best by themselves and best by their families. But there's one thing that's always been able to connect us. You think about going to an Eagles game. You turn to your left, you turn to your right. There's different people around you. They might look different than you. They might talk different than you. Different skin color, maybe an accent. Unity is what's important. And sports brings that. So I think that some people there's some people that don't understand how powerful sports is. Some of these people who are bigger fans of theater, or they have other passions that are outside of sports, might not understand that, but we might not understand for their perspective some of their passions that we have to do our best to to maybe not understand, but agree to stand with them. And that's kind of one of the central messages that I've been able to learn throughout this whole thing. With all that being said, it's great to be here with you, Gavin. It's great to be on the show today. I'm looking forward to continuing the discussion and continuing to do what we can to help advance ourselves, advance our society, and just keep moving forward. It's what we have to do. It's what we're going to do. You have to work hard in life. Everybody out there, there's no one should get a free pass in life. Everybody's got to work hard. Everybody's got to do it. Some people are born in different situations. Some people are going to face more adversity than others, which is, unfair. But at the end of the day, everybody's got to do by their family. Everybody's got to do by themselves. But it doesn't hurt to care. It doesn't hurt to have unity. And it's just great to have sports back. I'm overcome with emotion in some ways with the fact that we have it back. Because like you said, Gavin, there's still problems here. I mean, of course we know that. But this is a start. And we have to not only continue to acknowledge the problems, but also, and you've done this greatly, Gavin, acknowledge how far we've come and how far we're going to continue to go. That's the key. It's a race that we've started, but we are not yet done.
The beauty in life, Zach, is different everything. There's the differences among people. Zach, the differences between us, we're different. I'm an African American man here in America. You're a Jewish American man here in America. Our backgrounds are totally different. But, the love for sports brought us together. For those that may or may not know, me and Zach, we played against each other in the Y Basketball League. Taking it all the way back, Zach. Take it all the way back to when I was the Kawhi Leonard of defense and Zach was the LeBron James of offense. Obviously, you guys know who ended up on that winning side of the spectrum. If y'all think it was me, I don't think it was me. I think Zach was on the winning side. I think we got fair share.
We did. It was a pretty fair match over those 3 or 4 years.
But the beauty of being different is the beauty of the story that everyone gets to tell. My story may be way different than Zach's. But the best part about being different is you get to learn from people's stories. You get to ask some questions about their stories if they're willing to answer. And then they get to do the same. And then you go off from each other's stories and then y'all work together and become great friends. Like I said, this show is amazing, man, because I get to work with you every day for an hour a day. But for those who may or may not know, we talk all day long, every day, all day. That's the beauty in being different, ladies and gentlemen. But let's be together at the same time.
I agree. It's a great statement. Just because you're different doesn't mean you can't work together. You can't figure out ways to do it again. At the end of the day, everybody's got different lives, different perspectives on things. And that's why people believe certain things in certain ways. And it's important to understand that. It's important to embrace it. That's the most important thing. And then finally working together, finding ways to do things together. And that's really at the end of the day what's important, because everybody's got their own uphill battle. As is, it doesn't hurt to uplift each other. I'm not asking you to carry me and do the things that I have to do to become better. But it doesn't hurt to be there for each other when needed, and that's the difference. We have to understand. We have to be victors. We have to pretty much say to ourselves, okay, we all have different things that we're working towards, either occupations or academics or whatever. Nobody should be asking other people to do it for them. With that being said, you have to acknowledge that you're different. You may have different goals. Some people go off to college. Some people don't. You should embrace each other and just do what you can. Like say, I'm not going to control you. I'm not going to tell you what I would do, because it doesn't matter what you would do because you're different. But what can I do to support you and help you moving forward? And that's what's most important. And sports, it really all comes back to it because of how great of unity we can actually have through it. So it's just so great to be here. It's so great. Every day on the show, it's great. Every day, every breath is a blessing. I hope everybody looks at life like that, no matter how rough it might look right now for some people. Everybody has rough patches. Some people may have it more than others because of certain factors. But that's why we all have to be here for each other, because everyone has it different. But just because you're different does not mean it's an excuse to separate and not unify.
I want to say this real quick, and then I know we got a busy show today, but even though your situation might not be the best, right? You might not have, all the money in the world. You might not have, a lot. You might have little. You might have nothing. When you wake, but in life, there's wins. Your wins are always outseed the losses, Zach. You wake up, that's a win. That's a major win. Not a lot of people wake up the next day. If you can wake up the next day and the next day, that's a lot of wins right there. Regardless of the situation, you have loved ones around you and smiling. You guys are still having fun. regardless of situation. That's another win. Ladies and gentlemen, life is hard. All right, I'm only 17, and I'm saying life is hard. I already went through a lot, and I didn't get to adulthood yet. Nah. Oh boy, I'm scared. but life is hard. There's a lot of wins and losses. You're gonna take a lot of losses. If life was easy, Zach, then there wouldn't be no differences. I'm glad life's not easy because in life there's gonna be a lot of challenges. You're gonna overcome those challenges. You can't just back down from challenges. You gotta stand up and face them. But like I said, there's going to be a lot of days where you're going to have a lot of wins, and there may be days you take losses, but every day you wake up, that's a win. Every day you get to see your loved ones, that's a win. When you get to lay your head down at night and you're reminiscing on what happened or what you did during the day, and the good will always outweigh the bad. Remember that. Because the major one is the win. You woke up.
Just have to persevere. Michael Jordan's been put in charge of making the game-winning shot. He's missed it before. And he said, I've missed those shots before, and that's why I succeed, because I don't keep my head down. Everybody faces failure in their life. It's not about who fails less or who's lucky. It's about who gets back up.
How many times you get knocked down? How many times you get back up?
It only takes one more time to get up that you can do it. And it's one of the messages that we fight for. And it's one of those stories we see in sports. Gavin, we speak about Jimmy Butler a lot on this show, whether it's for how much we don't love the decisions that the front office made, but from the personal standpoint, even Patrick Beverly and Lou Williams and some of these other guys' backgrounds, and even the guy yesterday who was on Matt explained to us about how some kids, basketball is what they have. Jimmy Butler was kicked out of his house when he was young. Basketball was able to give him that opportunity to get back up, and he worked really hard to do it. Some people do it by starting a business or working hard in a company, working their way up. Everybody's got different ways. Success looks different for everybody. And so it's not about judging people because of that. It's about empowering them. That's what matters.
It's also about your terms of success. Remember this. Everybody thinks success is big house, big car, a lot of money. It could be other things. It could be for people that, that are getting a second chance, coming out of the system. It may be just getting back to a job and just getting back to everyday life. That could be their success right there. And then they move on to the next goal. And life, there's a lot of goals. You got to take it one step at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, time on this earth is uncertainty. You never know. You got to live every moment like it's your last day. Because sadly, when the clock is zero, there ain't no restart. There ain't no one more down. There's no more. This is it. You only get one. You only get one chance. So let's make it count. Let's do it right. Let's do it the right way.
I agree, and that's why every day everybody's got to work hard. It's about a mentality, keeping yourself like that. I always think back to Kobe Bryant. It's been 6 months since his passing, but we know that he gave it all he had every day, and it's just something you got to take away from it. And it's one of the ways of coping with his death was just thinking about how his mentality was and how every day he gave it 110%. And he loved what he did, whether he was being a father to his beautiful children, being a husband, being an NBA player, being a coach, whatever it was. It goes for everybody. You don't want to have regrets at the end of the day, and that's why it's so important to work hard and do what you do. Like Gavin said, your version of success.
Your version of success would be any way different. Zach, we haven't missed a beat since we started the show. We went 8 weeks strong. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. For those who may not know, me and Zach, we have busy mornings sometimes. So one day we didn't make it onto the show about 5 minutes before. Instead of pushing the time back, we said, no, we're going to do it. Success, it also can be, consistency. Stay consistent. Keep going after it. Keep grinding for it. Keep going. It may seem like you're not making anywhere, but in reality, you are.
I agree. I think any coach would tell you that consistency is the key to it. But Gavin, anything else you want to touch on that before we do dive into the actual talking about the return of sports?
Love everybody. Be united. Accept people's differences. But let's be together with it. Zach, I'm ready. You ready?
Unity through sports. Let's get it done.
Let's get it.
With that being said, Gavin, the wait is over. The NBA season will resume tonight, 6:30 p.m. The Jazz and the Pelicans, and then later tonight, a depleted Clippers versus the Los Angeles Lakers. So let's get started with it. Zion is questionable to play tonight. My gut feeling says he doesn't play, but they play against the Utah Jazz, another talented team that potentially could be going deep in the playoffs. What are your thoughts on tonight's game, and how do you think it's going to end up?
Well, first of all, I take a little bit of offense to you saying depleted Clippers team. I still think they're better, but I'm going to get into that after this. So Zion, I don't think Zion. You're right, Zach. I don't think Zion's playing today. I don't believe in it. So, and this is the case around Zion Williamson. I think they baby him a little too much. The New Orleans Pelicans. Sometimes you just gotta let the you know the saying. Sometimes the boy got turned into a man, right? They're babying this. He's a little boy right now. You gotta turn him into a grown man. So Zion's not playing today. They're gonna lose. Obviously, they're gonna lose. On the other end of the ball, the reason why I'm excited to see this first game is, like the video said, you got the first person to test positive in the whole NBA versus the guy that gave, and then the guy that gave it to him, the second guy that tested positive in the whole NBA. So Zach, what I mean by that is I want to see the relationship between those two. Is it really broken? We don't know. I haven't seen anything different in the bubble. I know people have come out and said, or Rudy Gobert has come out and said, "Oh, we're cool."
I think Mitchell did. I think Mitchell did say that they did have a beef, but they put it behind them for this team.
But Zach, remember, you could put something behind you, right? But deep down inside, you could be like, no, just no. So I'm actually interested to see how this is going to go. I'm excited for the first game. I know there's no Zion, but I'm excited to see NBA entirely. Also, as well, to go to the Lakers or Clippers. How dare you say that?
We're not there yet, Gavin.
Oh, we're not? Okay, my bad. Go ahead, Zach.
No, I'm messing with you. But no, I definitely think that I think it's going to be a good game. First game back might be a little sloppy early on. I want to see Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball and some of those forgotten guys on that team really get out there and play. Drew Holiday, JJ Redick coming back out. It's going to be – if they win tonight, it's because they shoot really well from the three-point line. But switching over to Utah, Mike Conley, he's had a down year after coming over from Memphis. Remember that. And so I think that you have to really, really break it down and say, okay, he's had a down year. He's older. Could this have benefited him? Al Horford's looking pretty good from beyond the arc afterwards. I think Mike Conley really does show up tonight. I think he really does keep the glue together. I think Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert are fine on the court. I don't know how they are off the court right now, but I think they're going to be fine afterwards. They're going to persevere. With all that being said, it's going to be a close one tonight, but I think Utah's defense with Rudy Gobert mostly is going to be able to overcompensate for the growing and young Pelicans team, which puts a loss in the column for them, which makes it harder for them to make the playoffs. They have to almost go perfect, being 3.5 games back behind Memphis.
So what is your final score prediction for the night then, for the first game?
I'll go 112 to 108. And I think that I think that it's 110 to 108. I think that I think the Pelicans have the ball. They have an opportunity to score. They miss it. They foul. Whoever gets the rebound, and then they make the 2 free throws to be a 4-point win, and then that's how it's going to be. If Zion does play, I do take the Pelicans by probably the same score, but I put the Pelicans on top.
I think it's going to be a nice 100 to 95. I think the Pelicans lead, right, to start the fourth, and I think then Donovan Mitchell just cuts it on and shows why he's an all-star. I think they're going a nice little 10-0 run at the end of the game, and it's too much for the Pelicans to handle, and they lose by 5 points.
I will have to see what happens. Definitely exciting. Now, Gavin, you can get to it. The Battle of L.A. Yes, I say depleted because Lou Will, Pat Bev, Montrezl Harrell, all out tonight. Kawhi shot 28% during the exhibition games. But no, tonight, the starting line, you still have your 2 all-stars on there. I have no idea who's going to be running the point guard position. I wanted to put Landry Shaman in there. I doubt he's going to run the point. He's more of a shooting guard. But someone's going to have to run the point guard for them tonight. Would be Reggie Jackson?
Reggie Jackson, most likely. And here's why a depleted team is I think that's not the best.
It's actually accurate.
Depleted was the Eagles. Depleted was the Eagles. On how you look at, I'm not trying to get into Eagles talk, but you look at the side of the ball. You know what the offense looked like, Zach. You go look at what we had at the beginning of the year, and look at what we ended with the end of the year. That's depleted. To go to this team, I don't think they're depleted. I think there's just bumps. I think there's little bumps in the road. They had no Montrez, no Lou Will, no Pat Bev. They're major bumps. Don't get it wrong. They're major bumps. I still think they have enough to get it done. They might not win tonight's game, but I still think they'll be just fine when it comes to playoff time. Remember, playoffs is in 3 weeks, 4 weeks away, maybe?
Yeah, I say 3 weeks, 3-4.
So I think there's enough time for them to come back. I think the Lakers win 101 to 100, and that's barely winning.
I'm taking Lakers 120 to 110 or 108. I think that LeBron really does show up tonight. I think that the Clippers are really taking a low-key approach to slowly transitioning back in. They're not worried about losing the 2 seed. They're not really worried about anything right now. They've been letting their guys leave the bubble all they want and come back whenever. Just get it done before the playoffs, and that's Doc Rivers' message to that team. So I am going to take the Lakers tonight.
Well, Zach, another thing as well. Can we just talk about LeBron's not going to be tired for the first time in forever? I'm serious, guys. I know I don't talk great on LeBron James when it comes to the basketball spectrum, but when it comes to everything else he's doing, I'm there for it. But LeBron James has always led the league in the most minutes played every year. Dude is like a car. He has a lot of miles on his legs. So you don't play for 140. You said 144 days, right?
144 days to last game.
144 days ago, LeBron James has played. It might even been before that because they didn't play that night. So Zach, think about it. 144 days, maybe even more. LeBron James has fresh legs. That's a scary sight. I'm not gonna lie to you. Am I worried? No. It's the Clippers in 4, most likely.
4.
7. You want me to say 7? Just because I know there's a lot of LeBron fans watching, I'll say 7. Clippers in 7. But still, a fresh LeBron James might change the spectrum. But when the Clippers get back to full strength, I think they'll be just fine.
We'll just see what happens there. I definitely think the Lakers take tonight. Doesn't mean they're better than them overall, but we'll have to see what happens with all that. Being said, Gavin, we're very excited for the NBA to return tonight. What are some things you're looking most forward to for this NBA resume? And then we're going on to our next topic, which I think is going to be very, very passionate, similar to our Phillies and top 100 with Carson Wentz conversation.
Well, besides the games itself, I'm excited to see how the NBA continues the social movement message. They written Black Lives Matter over the court, but words. I mean, that shows. Zach, I remember I came on here. I told you, I said, at first I was with Kyrie about not playing, and then I was like, well, wait a minute. Every time you see these protests, they're never showing the good side. So how can, or the media will twist it to make it look bad. So how can you twist a whole sport into looking bad? So I'm excited to see how they continue the movement and the platform they have. I'm just excited for that aspect besides the games.
I agree. It's going to be exciting. Me personally, I'm excited to see jerseys back of their names, things like that. Just curious to see how it's going to be without fans. How these guys are going to be able to get their energy and be able to continue to keep it up, especially guys like Joel Embiid who are very derived off of their fans at home. But teams that struggle on the road, specifically the Sixers, I'm looking forward to seeing how they do. But yeah, tonight, really excited for it. But Gavin, once you see this topic name, you're going to know why I'm pretty upset. Let me just get something clear.
You can go first. Okay. You can go first. Just go ahead.
Let me just get something very clear to the MLB commissioner, whoever's looking at me, whoever's hearing this, whatever. Let me get something very, very clear to you. Okay? Cheating so that you can win a World Series. Okay. No suspension, no punishments. Manager's out. That's about it. No strip of the World Series title. Nothing like that. Number 2. Literally using a buzzer and getting a walk-off home run, which they lost last year, so it's still part of the cheating. And then a 3-0 count with a pitcher who didn't even hit a guy, who got walked, and then strikes out a kid and makes a strange face walking to the dugout in LA. Bench is clear. Guess which one of those actions gets you suspended? I'm going to pull Gavin right back in and ask him that question. He's heard everything I've said. Gavin, guess which one of those 3 actions ended up in a suspension?
Making a face and totally not hitting somebody.
So you think that's worse than cheating?
No. Ladies and gentlemen, Zach, let me get the whole attention real quick. Let me just get this because I'm disgraced. Rob Manfred, you did it again. You dropped the ball again, and this is all your fault. And I hope everybody in MLB, if someone from MLB or if you guys know someone that plays in MLB, let them send this to them. Screen record it. I don't care what you do. Give it to them. When I say this, and I mean this with the most utter disrespect, I hope every Astros player gets hit. Because you know what? The commissioner's on your side. Apparently, Zach, what we could do is you could wear buzzards, you could bang on trash cans, you could do everything you want. And what happens, you just bang on a trash can and you and you don't get discredited for it. Zach, when in life have you ever seen someone cheat and then get called out for it? It's like, Zach, when someone cheats on a test in our school, and what do they do when that happens? What do they say?
You get a zero on it. You're done.
Zero. That's a zero. When have we ever seen someone cheated and then get saved by someone that tries to reprimand it? Rob Manfred, you're a disgrace to commissioner. I think you're worse than Roger Goodell now, and that's hard because Roger Goodell is pretty bad. But I call you worse than Roger Goodell now, and I don't know how the heck I did that, but you're worse than Roger Goodell. And another thing, Zach, before I let you go, because I'm more disgraced by it. Joe Kelly even wasn't on the team right at the time.
You're the Red Sox, right?
He was a Red Sox, right? Joe Kelly's Fight Club. All right. Not only did he not connect with none of these pitches, but also too making a face. Zach, when did making a face offend somebody? You cheated. Aroldis Chapman said 103 miles off fastball. Altuve, that's for you. I can't. Rob Manfred, you oh my God. Zach, please. Just please.
Imagine if he was suspended for I think it's almost equivalent to 20 games during a full season.
Stupid.
For throwing a ball near, who was it, Bregman? His head.
So dangerous, a little bit, but it's whatever.
Oh, it's dangerous. Didn't hit him.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're going to suspend a guy for that? So let me ask you this question, Gavin. It's the essential question at the top of our screen. What kind of message is the MLB sending out by being this kind of tough with someone who was attempted or was part of somewhat of an attempt to hit an Astros player?
You know what this shows? Zach, I'm gonna be honest with you, and then I want your full thought. Hey guys, go ahead and cheat. Don't worry about. We're not going to suspend the cheating team, but if you try to throw at them, we're going to suspend you. Where is the logic? Where? Zach, if I threw my best stuff at you, if I threw my 100-mile-per-hour fastball at you, but trust me, guys, it's nowhere near 100 miles per hour. It's like 50 probably. But if I threw my fastball at you, Zach, and not at you, but and you banged on the trash can and you buzzed on it and you smacked the home run and I lose my job, and the next time I get a job and I play against you, I'm going to hit you. You're going to suspend me for almost losing my job, Rob. You're making a mockery of the wrong thing. Make a mockery of the Miami Marlins. We had a comment yesterday saying, but I think his name was Mr. Washington. He said, hit him in the pockets. Means find the heck out of him too. Okay. But you're making a mockery of the wrong stuff. This is not what you make a mockery of. You make a mockery of the Astros. You make a mockery of the Marlins. You put the foot down on those two teams. But no, their foot is wide open. Just disgrace. You're worse than Roger Goodell. You're like at the all-time bottom of commissioners in history.
So you can cheat and you can spread a virus, but you can't throw a ball near a guy's head.
Or their body.
Is that the law? Like, he didn't hit him. If you drilled him in the head, yeah, I mean, you have to suspend him. But if you punish the Astros, suspending him would make it better because it's like, all right, the Astros paid their price. Right? If we stripped away the World Series title, if we suspend them for half the year or whatever, or hit them in the pockets, then at that point, it's like, okay, the MLB punished them. None of these players have a right to do so. The MLB didn't do squat with that team. So Miami's not getting any punishment. What's going to happen to Miami for spreading the coronavirus? They spoke in their text messages. It took the Nationals all saying together, we're not going to play in Miami. We're speaking of that. We're going to talk about them next because they started off terrible this year, and they're the defending champions. But with all that being said, what kind of message is this? What are you sending out, MLB? Where you can spread the coronavirus, where you can cheat, but you can't throw a ball near a guy's head. At least, you can suspend him, but you got to suspend everybody else too, right? Like, would you be fine with Joe Kelly being suspended if the Astros had their World Series stripped and a few guys got suspended, their manager was kicked out, which he did, and then you suspended the Marlins for a few games for the coronavirus scandal?
If all that happened, Zach, I'm like, all right, with this Joe Kelly thing, then I understand that. But Zach, none of those happened. So, Zach, let me get the impression that MLB baseball is giving off. MLB is giving off. Let's go to Magic City, right? We can go get the coronavirus and let's go to another city and risk putting them in danger, right? And then, Zach, at the end of that, we can go bang on some trash cans and use buzzards and smack every home run we want to, because that's what we're getting out of this. Oh, and not to mention, but I'm gonna mention anyway. Dave Roberts also served a 1-game ban too, which I don't understand for what. It's not like Dave Roberts said go hit him. Apparently, making a face, missing people, and saying some words I'm not going to say on here is worth 8 games. Zach, I've seen way worse done in MLB, and they got 0.
They're pretty much getting away with cheating. Jose Altuve, all of them. I was watching them last night. They lost in extra innings. Thank goodness. Dodgers were able to top them last night. But Gavin, it's disgraceful. There's no standard here for the MLB. It's a mess out there.
It's a mockery. It's a mockery. And I just where I applaud Adam Silver. You don't see none of this in his league. You don't see it in the WNBA. You don't see it in the NHL. Only in this sport, in football. But I'm not worried about you guys because you guys are my least of my worries, football. You guys got to worry about how you're going to play the season. Rob Manfred and Roger Goodell both had 2 horrible things happen under their watch. Astros cheating scandal, the bounty gate, or the bounty, where ended up Roger Goodell. I think Roger Goodell got suspended, right? Or Sean Payton, one of those 2 did.
Payton was.
I think it was Payton, sure. So, Zach, I guess cheating's okay now, and the league's gonna protect me. I guess that's what it is, guys. Don't ever cheat. Don't ever cheat, because people like us won't like you. But don't worry. I guess what we think don't matter because the league's gonna save you guys. I guess I'm gonna start a trend called Free Joe Kelly, and I'm gonna start printing some Joe Kelly Fight Club T-shirts because
You got new ideas for Teespring.
there we go. Free Joe Kelly. But no, Zach, this is a disgrace.
It doesn't make sense. Like, really? You're telling me you can cheat. You're telling me that you can do all that, but Joe Kelly, like I said, it's fine if you got suspended, but you gotta have the other trends. So Gavin, a last statement on this before our mid-show announcement, and then we're gonna be breaking down the fallout for the Nationals. How are they looking this year with a 2-3 start, and even the Astros who are struggling? But any final statements on this?
I wish someone could develop like 110 fastball and hit Jose Altuve right in the buzzer.
That's a harsh one.
I know, but Zach, but also cheating.
Cheating first, too.
Winning. I'm not saying hit him in the head now because I'm not condoning life threatening. I'm just saying in the shoulder where it hurts, make him miss. Maybe in the wrist, make him miss some time. Because obviously cheating's okay with the MLB. Maybe the Phillies should start cheating and we'll be all right too.
Nah, we'd still lose to Miami.
Yeah, they'll give us a coronavirus problem.
With that being said, we'll be right back after this. We have a quick announcement, but we'll be talking about the Nationals as well as a couple other teams around the league. What's surprising? What teams are in first place in their division we thought wouldn't be, and who's on last we thought wouldn't be? All that after this. We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom-designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewers' choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage. Single-sided print, includes 2 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit to feed children in need. Enjoy. Now, Gavin, let's start with it. Let's talk about the defending champions. You said they take a step back this year, and so far it's looking like that. Not a great start for them at all. Not a great start for any team in the NL East. Some of them aren't even playing right now. But Miami's in first place at 2-1. But with that being said, Gavin, let's start with Washington. What are some of their thoughts on the Nationals, and what are some of the big causes, and where could they potentially not even make the playoffs this year, even with the extended playoffs?
So it's tricky, Zach, and here's why. The Nationals did the same exact thing last year. They started off really slow, and then they picked up the momentum throughout the year. Obviously, you know the rest. 60 games is not a lot. It may seem like a lot, but it's not. I got the standings over here, ladies and gentlemen. They're 2-4. That's 6 games played already. 6 out of 60. Everybody's great at math. They already know. If you got a lot, you don't got that many more games left. How is a Miami Marlins number 1? Well, first team on Corona probably, but still, they're number 1. And this list doesn't shock me about the Nationals because I knew they were going to have a horrible time. No Juan Soto still. You lose Anthony Rendon, who's a big piece. The three-headed monster. Max Scherzer looks kind of awful right now. And Steven Strasburg missed a start due to back tightness. And Pat Corbin, he was there. He did all right. but you play the Yankees in the first start. So that's obviously going to happen.
They're going to play them again. That's the thing. It's 60 games, Gavin. They don't have time. They're pacing for 20 and 40. So let me ask you this, Gavin. Do you think that they do win the division?
No, I do not think so. I think Atlanta Braves will win the division. And Zach, you're not going to like what I'm about to say. Maybe the Phillies should somehow prove you and I wrong and come out and make the wild card. But I think the Braves had the division. The Braves are the best team in the NL East by far. The Braves can go toe-to-toe with the Yankees and go toe-to-toe with the Rays. Freddie Freeman had a monstrous game last night. They can do a lot of things. It's just how is the ending is going to be. I think the Braves have it, and maybe the Phillies are second place. Maybe Pete Alonso and the Mets, they come out of nowhere sometimes. The Nationals, I think they'll be third place. I hope the Miami Marlins come in last. Or fourth place, excuse me. Miami Marlins come last.
Wouldn't shock me there. Definitely a tricky situation given a lot of what's going through coronavirus given for the Marlins and the Phillies. We're the only two teams not playing right now. Phillies come back yesterday, still negative. I guess the plan is to play a doubleheader Saturday, 7 innings each against Toronto, and then finish that series Sunday, and then they go back to their normal schedule, assuming that everything goes well. That's still got a few more days. If any positives pop up, it's going to push it back even more, which could potentially really damage the Phillies' potential hopes of having a regular season. That brings us down to 28 teams if we do have some positives come back. But right now, everything's negative and looking good. Miami Marlins players still are getting more positives. They're still stuck in Philadelphia. That's still an interesting situation. The fact that nobody's really talking about it that much is a little concerning. Potentially another opportunity for Rob Manfred to drop the ball, but no shocker there.
Right.
But Gavin, let's get to the next part. The Houston Astros. We just talked about them for the last 15 minutes of our segment, but they're 3-3 right now. They're at the top of their division. It's a weak division this year, but 3-3. They're concerned that they could potentially be a team that could take a step back this year.
Well, I was actually watching the Houston Astros games, but I couldn't bear to look at Jose Altuve's face, so I cut the TV off and went to watch Mike Trout and those boys. I believe in Mike Trout this year. I believe in the Athletics this year. 60 games, anything can happen. You know, Mike Trout always wins 60 games, around 60 games, or a little bit below. But
that's brutal. It's like 59 and 103.
Best player in baseball got arguably a great third baseman. But Zach, the Astros aren't going to the playoffs this year. No one wants to see that. No one. I don't want to. Zach, I can't speak for you, but Zach, I think that Houston Astros are going to fall off, not by a lot, but a little bit. I think teams like the Athletics are going to start running away with it. Maybe Texas might pick something up. I know they just lost Corey Kluber. The Mariners are trying to figure their life out, and I think the Angels are going to be on track pretty soon.
Hopefully the Angels can be. Mike Trout's second year under that monster contract. We're going to see what happens with that. But for me personally, I'm not going to say I want it to happen, but it would fascinate me if the Astros make the playoffs and go deep in the playoffs and make the World Series. If they win the World Series, I would kind of laugh, to be honest with you. It's not something I want to see happen, but I can definitely see it happening, and I think it would definitely frustrate a lot of people.
Well, it would definitely frustrate me because, one, we know, did y'all cheat this year? We don't know. Hey, Dodgers, did y'all hear any bangs last night? Because I was too close of a game for no Justin Verlander. I don't know. I don't want to see that team win.
It'll be fascinating if they do, definitely. But let's continue the conversation then as far as diving forward with it. We are going to have 2 more segments today. We have this one coming up, and then the 3-word game. We're going to name the NBA teams, and we'll have 3 words to describe them. So we got about 16 minutes to cover all that. But first, Gavin, conference games only. This is a new element. It's been here for a couple weeks now. They announced that they're going to be playing only interconference, Big Ten, ACC, including Notre Dame. But Gavin, let's get to it. Will there be a college football season this year?
Well, before I get into that breaking news real quick, of Phillies, Zach, I think we spoke to.
Just saw it came in.
Phillies, go ahead, yeah.
The Philadelphia Phillies have 2 positive tests. Team cancels all activities in Bank Park after coach and home clubhouse staffer test positive. I really hope that doesn't Joe Girardi.
So back to the question. Will there be a college football season? No. How can there be a season, Zach, when you can't even get the students on the campus?
A lot of schools are almost fully virtual now. Like the University of, I think Harvard's definitely online. They've already pushed their season out. But how can you expect your players to come on campus and play, especially when they're not being paid? when you're not expecting your students to come on and do it.
That's a disgrace. I'm disgusted by the College Board because they can't get their students in here. I have a friend that goes to Purdue. She's like, I don't know. I think they're gonna let us go online. I'm not sure what they're doing. No one knows what they're doing. Zach, you can't have a school. A school cannot have a season. Oklahoma. I know. DeMarco Berry was talking about training camp, and it was hard over Zoom because you want to see you want to see the players in person and work with them in person. I know Lincoln Riley. He can't wait for the season. I know Nick Saban wants to rebound from his disappointment last year. I know Ed Orgeron wants to go after, but you guys can't do that without the rest of the student body on the campus.
I agree. It's going to be tough, and it's very hypocritical for a school to expect their players to come out and do that. And again, we are still pulling up some of this breaking news here. We'll continue the conversation for college football in the future, but for the time being, we have 14 minutes. We are going to get to one more category, but we are breaking the news here live on the show that 2 Philly staff, one as a coach, tested positive for COVID-19. Gavin, we just spoke about 4 minutes ago, about assuming that everything goes fine for the next few days, that we're not going to have this. This might start a trend now. Every player's got to stay away from each other right now. They've probably been together practicing. They've probably been at the field and everything. This could potentially get worse. We don't know what's going to happen here. And now one of two teams now have confirmed tested positives internally, and this could potentially become a big problem the same way it did for Miami.
All right, Rob. The ball's in your court again. I'm ready for you to drop it so I can pick it up and yell at you. But listen, Zach, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be 100% honest. You guys are hearing this first because this is all new. Are you surprised? I'm not.
No. I'm guessing the clubhouse, it's looking like it probably was the clubhouse attendant that was in the Marlins dugout. I don't have any confirmation on that. Press release: the Phillies have received the results of yesterday's testing. While no players tested positive, there were 2 staff members that did test positive. One is a member of the coaching staff, and one is a member of the home clubhouse staff. All activities at Citizens Bank Park have been canceled today and until further notice.
Joe Girardi, I pray for you, my guy. I really do. I hope it's not you. Didi, same way with you. I hope it's not you as well. Are you happy, Miami? Look at your recklessness, your carelessness. Look what happened. I know you guys are right, but it's only 2, but that's not the point. You got to think from a human perspective. I wouldn't want to give the COVID to anyone else. Zach, I know you wouldn't want to do it either. If I have it, I'm staying home. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. These guys didn't do what they're supposed to do. You go out to a gentleman's club, Magic City to be exact. You go out in a pandemic, in a state that's rising.
In a hot spot.
In a hot spot that's rising, coming from your own hot spot. And you go to a city where it's now warm, a warm spot. Zach, there we go, warm spot. And then now this happens. This goes back to what I was saying yesterday. Kick him out the league. Carelessness, right here. Here we go. It's careless again. They're being careless and they're not being thoughtful.
I agree. It's a tough situation, and we'll have to continue to break that down. Right after this, though, unless we do have any other news to report as far as that situation, we are going to move on to our next topic, the 3-word game. We're going to name pretty much every team today. We'll see if we have time to. We'll name all the teams that are in it, and we'll just give three words to describe it, maybe just a quick sentence to do that, describing the situation for that team, what this season means for them, etc. All that after this.
Would you like to know how you can support the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show? If so, head down to the comments on our YouTube channel. You will see 2 links there. The first is our Teespring, where you can see a wide variety of apparel products, including our signature product, the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show sweatshirts, offered in a variety of different colors, including gray, navy blue, and more. Finally, we have our Patreon page, where you can become a monthly donation member. 10% of all donations go towards an organization of our viewers' choice. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you can't donate, that's okay, because you can all.
Pulling Gavin back in, we are going to continue with the show talking about our NBA teams. If we do have anything else to report on the Philly situation, we will live. But other than that, Gavin, let's start with it. Let's start with the Western Conference going down. We'll just give a quick statement for each team, starting off with the 1-2 Los Angeles Lakers. Gavin, you can go first.
Clippers in 4.
I'm going to guess it's the same for the Clippers, huh?
Yeah. No, guys, let me be serious. This team is dangerous. Healthy, fresh LeBron. That's enough said right there.
I agree. Talent is there. In my opinion, they have the talent to do it. Let's get down to the Clippers.
Clippers in 4.
There you go. Going to be tough. I don't think it's going to be as easy for them as they think it is. I think that there are going to be, outside of the Lakers, there are going to be other teams that can expose some of their weaknesses. So I think it's going to be tough. Now the 3 seed, I believe, is the Denver Nuggets. Let me double check. Yep, Denver Nuggets. Gavin, go ahead.
I see it's a little iffy. I don't think they have enough to go make a deep run.
I want to say something revolving bull, but I know you're not going to like that. I'll go with Jokic must score. He must become a legit scorer for that team. He has to be able to score when it matters the most. Him, Jamal Murray, but I think Jokic is that X factor.
Which is the bull thing.
I would have just said bull's key, seeing how he can go. But we'll have to get to it next time, depending on if he can actually get out there and be NBA caliber. And the 4 seed, Utah Jazz. Gavin, go ahead.
Gotta run. Or let me just hold it. I just messed it up. Donovan Mitchell has to score.
For me,
it's him.
Put beef aside. Can they actually put their beef aside? Are they true when they say it's behind them now? Let's get down to the 5 seed, Gavin, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
How did y'all get here? Really? How'd y'all get here?
That's mine. I'll go with better than expected.
Well, Zach, I don't know how they got here, but they're here, so I guess they're going to make a little push for it.
I agree. I hope to see so. Chris Paul definitely can make up for it. All right, the Houston Rockets. I'll go first here. Can they? No, I'm going to do something else. Small ball question mark. Can the small ball work? Russell Westbrook, James Harden, dominant scorers each. Your big man is like 6'6", so let's see how that works out.
There's no I in team. I know that's more than 3, but what I mean by there's no I in team, that means there's no James Harden versus everybody. It's everybody versus everybody. You gotta play team ball, James. You gotta play team ball.
Number 7, the Dallas Mavericks. Don't buy hype. I think Luka's a good player. I think he's athletic. They don't have enough around him yet, so I'm not buying the hype.
Well, not ready yet. There it is. They don't have enough around him. Chris Porzingis still got to show me a little more that they can work together. I like everybody else around him, but there's not enough around him yet.
And now the 18 Memphis Grizzlies, I'm going with against all odds. They have probably one of the toughest schedules, either on purpose or not. Pelicans having one of the easiest schedules. So it's against all odds. Can they face the adversity? Can they do what they can to keep that 8 seed and push forward?
In 4 words, in Ja we trust. Ja Morant, the odds are stacked against you. No one wants to see you in it. They want the Pelicans in it. They won't put Damian Lillard in it, but they don't want to see you in it. And I know you deserve to be in it. So in Ja we trust.
And now we actually 2 more teams in this category. We'll leave the Kings, Spurs, and Suns out unless they do make a legit push during this. I'll have to issue an apology. But the Trailblazers, Gavin, you can go first for this one. I have an idea of what you're going to say.
Dame did all. I got to do a full sentence.
Dame did it.
No, I got to do a full. Dame, you did all the talking. Now prove it. Prove that you deserve to be in there, because I don't think you deserve to be in there this year.
All righty, the Pelicans. Gavin, go first.
Not gonna happen. You're not jumping over. You're not jumping over 2 teams that you gotta win, and then you gotta make sure they lose. You're not jumping over 2 teams. Not gonna happen.
JJ Redick hasn't missed the playoffs since before high school. I think that streak continues this year. Now let's go over to the Eastern Conference. I know that you are not very hot on the Pelicans, but I'm still riding them. Gavin, the Milwaukee Bucks.
Giannis. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, everybody wants Giannis to lead the Bucks. Yours truly. If the Bucks don't win this year, that's it, maybe. But if you want to win, Giannis has to stay red hot. He can't do what he did versus the Raptors, where he went just disappeared. Can't do that.
The East is yours. I know it's more than 3 words, but the East is theirs. There's really nobody in your way. All right, Toronto Raptors.
Early exit. You're not running that deep. I don't believe in Kyle Lowry. Fred VanVleet, can he shoot the ball like he did last year? We don't know. I like Pascal Siakam, but I think the lights might be a little too big for him. And Marcus Gasol, I was worried.
Need X factor. It was Kawhi Leonard last year. Unless someone magically rises to the occasion, they're not going to be able to go as deep as they were. All right, Gavin, the 3-seed Boston Celtics.
Role player, role player, role player. And I know that's more than 3 words, but I put them all together. So what I mean by role player, just look at them. They all do their roles. No one outseeds one. And when one's having a better game, they give him the ball. When Tatum's having a hot game, Tatum gets the ball. When Jaylen Brown's going off, Jaylen Brown gets the ball. When Kemba Walker's doing Kemba Walker things, which another thing is too, I could have said Kemba Walker's health. Should have said that. But if Kemba Walker be healthy too, they can make a lot of damage. I like this team.
Give Tatum the ball. If you're going to be an authentic player in this league, if you're going to be a superstar, you have to be able to carry your team down the stretch. I think that should be Jason Tatum's role. The 4-seed Gavin, the Miami Heat, I'll go first here. Same as the Dallas Mavericks, don't buy hype. They're too young and inexperienced. They're a great regular season team. Still respect for Jimmy Butler, but I don't think they're going to be able to go deep in the playoffs.
Jimmy, I love you, my guy, but my 3 words, see y'all next year. Too young. You weren't supposed to be that high anyway. All right? The East is weak. We already know that. But
now the Indiana Pacers for me. How'd they get here?
Who did they have? They didn't have Victor Oladipo the full year. Malcolm Brogdon didn't have a
Sabonis is probably out for the season.
Sabonis is my nickname. I call him Sabonhead because of all the dumb stuff he does in 2K. But Sabonis, Miles Turner, I don't know how they got here, but kudos. You're gonna give this spot to the Sixers anyway.
I hope so.
Sixers.
Boy. I know who it is.
Go ahead, Zach. You can go ahead.
You got it first.
Ben, shoot, and shoot. Ben, if you shoot the floor space, 15 footers. We don't need threes. Just need to shoot. You got to shoot in the playoffs. You got to make them respected. Brett Brown, when coaches are out coaching you, don't run into like this little corner and act like you don't know. Stand up for yourself. Come on now.
Joel, stay healthy. If he stayed healthy last year, we're probably going to the finals.
Agreed.
And now 7, the Brooklyn Nets.
I got this for you, Zach. Just go home.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Just go home.
Get lost, kids.
Get lost. Go home. Your injured / Corona team is better than the team or the hot garbage you sent down there. Just go home.
And now the 8-seed Orlando Magic. Can they hold ? I think they do. They will. The only team behind them is Washington. No excuses for them.
Early exit. They don't have enough. They keep doing the same thing every year. Markel Fultz isn't playing. No shocker. No shocker whatsoever. I like Aaron Gordon. Not enough. Ned, is it Nikola Vucevic? I think I said that right. Nikola Vucevic. I like him. Not enough.
And now finally, number 9, the Washington Wizards. Who they got?
Just like the Brooklyn Nets, I'm going to say go home. Because if you make it in, you're going to get out easily. Just go home. I hope you enjoyed your stay, but go home. You in Brooklyn, just go home.
I agree. All right, so that's all of those teams. We'll be here tomorrow, basketball post-game, talking about the Jazz and the Pelicans and the Clippers and the Lakers. With that said, Gavin, any final statements to the crowd before we wrap up today's edition of the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show here on the More Than Philly Sports Network?
Remember, love everybody. Respect everybody. Unite. Work together. We're better together than separate. As you guys can see, we're separate right now as a country. It's not working that well. Let's be united. Let's go back to let's be loving and respectful and be united. Zach, I'll see you tomorrow.
I agree. And for those who didn't have an opportunity to watch the first 15 minutes of the show, highly recommended. It was a really good part of the show, good intro video and all that. So thanks everybody for joining us today. And we'll see you all tomorrow. And Gavin, let's go Lakers.
Go Clips.
We'll have to see about all that tomorrow and more. A lot of exciting stuff coming up. Thanks again, everybody, and have a great day. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post excerpts